Hi friends, it's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about a new saying that has reached the point of worse than useless. This is a it's a quality indicator that is really important to me. This idea that something is worse than useless. A lot of times you'll come across things and you're like, and today we're talking about sayings, like cultural sayings in America that start useful. Like they're, oh, hey, that's a cool way of saying something quickly. And that was really useful. And in this one example, it probably was a good idea, like, but now, it becomes like, it is what it is. That saying has become worse than useless now. Like, and but let's get to the new saying that has been here. So there's a few. It is what it is, worse than useless. And one of the big ones that links directly to what we're talking about today was, there's a we're all concerned about unemployment, which is really fascinating. People are terrified that people are going to be unemployed, like there won't be jobs for people, and it's hard to understand because uh, I believe that unemployment will not be a concern for like 50 years. And the reason why is there's just some really simple math. Um, Baby boomers are the biggest generation ever born in America, right? They're dying like at a rate that is higher than ever, right? There just aren't that many of them. They've reached the point where they're dying and they need to be replaced in the workplace, right? So you take a baby boomer who worked 60, 70, 80 hours a week, they grinded, right? And now you replace them with millennials and Gen Zs, right? And here's the problem. A millennial and Gen Z come in at 10, go out at 4, like, and they are not, they're there for the check, but you're not going to get extra time out of them. You're not going to get 60, 70, 80-hour weeks out of them. So it usually takes 1.5 to 3 millennials or Gen Zs to replace one baby boomer, right? And then, here you go. The Gen Zs and the millennials are the smallest generations that have ever been seen in America. So the reality is there's a ton of people dying that have to be replaced. There's almost no new people going into the chute, right? So the idea that unemployment is going to be a problem is ludicrous, right? But but the fear of it is absolutely real, and there's a ton of people who are just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be out of a job for this reason or that reason or this reason or that reason. And this started a few years ago, and the biggest one was, it was journalists. Their jobs were going away quickly, because like, you could just pick up stories from the AP on the wire, right? And you just didn't need as many reporters. There were all these people with communication degrees and almost no, jobs to give them for that degree. And then also like coal workers, right? Like they're, oh, these are, fossil fuels. We got to get rid of this, and so their jobs were going away. And there was this saying that came out, and it was terrible. It was so bad. It actually, I think it was, the first 3 times it was used is probably spot on, right? Somebody, who maybe was a manager as a coal plant, or was, a solid reporter, and they would say, learn to code, learn to code. They would just put it in the comments, learn to code, right? And before long, it only took like 6, 12, maybe 18 months max. That was seen as the most acidic, horrible, worse than useless thing you could possibly say to these people, because it was just false, right? It's not easy to learn to code. Script kiddies, they can code well at the age of 14, right? And you get to this point where you're like, hey, this is not helpful to say to anyone. This is very harmful, and it doesn't help at all the person you're saying it to. What it does is but it is useful to say the person who just said that is intellectually lazy, unempathetic, and just really a horrible person, right? Like they don't think, they're just spewing out something they've heard. They're not really trying to connect with the people that are having these problems. It's just it's worse than useless. There's a new saying in town. All right, okay, this new saying, never useful anymore. Absolutely never useful. Never useful, except to identify unempathetic, lazy, horrible people. Okay? What's that term? Touch grass. So useless. so horrible, so like that person is intellectual lazy, unempathetic, and horrible. They're just bad people. So if you hear it, run for the hills from that person. They are not, they were the same, and probably were the same people saying, it is what it is. The same people who were saying, learn to code. The same people were like, touch grass. And I know they're the opposite, right? But these people, they're not like, oh, I'm going to use this saying because it's useful. It's just catchy. They hear it and they repeat it. There's no thought involved. They're not emotionally grounded. They're not thinking about it from a spiritual perspective. It's just like a parrot. Oh, I heard this catchy phrase and now all the cool people are using it. And for 3 weeks, it was cool and it was useful, right? Now the only use of it is to say, oh, the person that just said that, unempathetic, lazy, horrible person, run for the hills. Do not engage with that person. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.